Welcome to this week's SIIA Executive Spotlight. We are privileged to have Pawel Leks here with us today. Pawel is the CEO of Emplo, and Emplo provides a SaaS platform that helps companies create an engaging work environment. So Pawel, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So more and more companies are moving towards a virtual workforce. However, there's still a lot of companies that have not adopted this mindset, and in some cases are against this mindset. Since you guys strive to help companies manage their workforces, what's your view on a remote or virtual workforce?
Virtual workforce or remote work is just necessity right now in these years. First of all, because there is a huge lack of people being able to do the job. It extends when you go to the companies who operate in the more challenging markets with high specializations, especially software engineering. But generally right now, it's a big case for most of the companies around. So people or managers are willing to be more open to hire people remotely and work with them with no office space for those people, but just communicating with them over the internet, over the telephones and other kind of platforms. The idea for virtual workspace has been around for a while. In big corporations, it's a usual for talking on the conf calls, video calls, even virtual presence is becoming a usual. But for smaller companies, it's a challenge because it basically requires a huge support from the technological point of view. And you can implement the solutions for the work efficiency and productivity. You can implement all the different tools for the being more productive, managing projects, managing tasks, sharing files. But this is not enough for usual collaboration purposes. A collaboration consists of several different things, tools to work, but also for an employee to become a part of community, to understand the purpose of the company, to understand how the community basically as a company is communicating with each other, how it sets up the goals, how it operates on the usual basis, on everyday basis. And extending this, every company becomes a certain community with its own different kind of people culture. A culture of a company becomes one of the most important to most of the workplaces right now. To create a culture for a company, you have to have people integrated, talking to each other. So more and more tools come into the space of virtual collaboration. It's not only a productivity, but also it goes to the usual conversation, people talking to each other, just a human feeling of being a part of something bigger, having friends at work. Even though I don't sit with them, I still can collaborate. I still can talk on the private things. So this is what we are actually doing. We are combining all those productivity tools, especially for the HR purposes, but we have extended this to be just a social platform for people to communicate with each other, and in a different forms, in a form of chat, in a form of groups that you can exchange information just like you do every day on Facebook. Why is Facebook booming so much? Because there is more and more people sitting at home and working, and they need to be a part of community, a part of society. They need to communicate with friends. We believe that any company hiring people remotely, but even in one location, if it's a big location, people stopped talking to each other. They just basically gather in small groups in the same room, and this is mostly who we know. If we want to know entire company, tools, internet tools, social collaboration platforms come into play. So just summing up, it's a necessity to become a good company, to hire right people. If it's a necessity, it's also a necessity to implement and deploy different kind of tools to support this kind of cooperation between people and communication.
So you talked about the social media approach, and I've heard that before from some of your blogs and such. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what you mean by a social media approach to employee interactions and how that can significantly change a company? Because, like you said, if we are going to be virtual, we certainly need those tools to have that collaboration amongst the employees.
Yeah, sure. What we mean by that our perception of different tools is somehow influenced by what we use in our private life. It's just like I would compare it to our experience when we go to the store and when we go to our work. Basically, this is an employee experience versus a customer experience. This is exactly the same thing. If I'm working, I'm expecting from the company certain behaviors and certain processes to be in place, just like I go to store. Sorry, I go to the store and I expect the store to provide a certain kind of service with a certain kind of quality. And the same applies to tools that are used for collaboration. Most of the HR or old-fashioned collaboration tools was just based on doing the job in the most efficient way. Right now, we can see that it goes way beyond. If we even talk about companies who we sometimes compete with, Slack, what they've implemented into their instant messaging solution is emotions. Basically, small icons that represent different kind of funny feelings or serious feelings. This is something that old-fashioned tools it didn't exist there because it was just the purpose of those tools were purely business. Now we are implementing more and more social life, emotions, a way to express emotions. So what we say when we say more social approach is first of all a bigger transparency, because you can access more and more information about the things that don't involve you in the work, but you might be interested in this. Let's say there is a project management tool for marketing and the salespeople don't have access to this. That they might have some feedback, they might be interested with what's going on, but in all the way, they didn't have access to this. What we do is when we open groups for projects in our tool, users can decide if anyone can join and collaborate. They can feedback, they can express their opinions, or if it's a closed and private group. Of course, there are many reasons to group for people to work separately and on the side and not expose everything to the entire company. Majority of cases, that anyone can bring a valuable feedback, extending the group of people who are working on different projects to the departments that usually are not getting involved, might be very beneficial to the outcomes of this project. So when we say social, it's more transparent, more emotional. Just being able to click like on someone else's comment. It's a usual on Facebook, but it's not really very usual in the business environment. And this is also expressing some kind of approval and my opinion about this comment. I like it, so I support it somehow. Emoji icons and all those different things are just an addition to the entire social concept. So just treating people and like community, not working in the small groups, but extending the cooperation to entire company. We have a lot of cases where this transparency have worked out perfectly by getting involved people who are not usually invited for the project, from legal, from finance, to the projects of marketing or sales, was really very beneficial.
That segues pretty well into my next question. I want to stay on this topic of the workforce. One of the biggest challenges I hear from CEOs, especially in our industry, is recruiting and retaining good talent. Can you talk about what you do as a CEO, or what steps you take to recruit, keep, and motivate talented people? And do you have any advice for your peers out there that are going through the same struggle?
Yeah, first of all, we have exactly the same problems in Europe than you have in the United States. It's really hard to recruit and retain talented people within any organization. It's a huge and very challenging market. Big companies are coming and going and hiring people for lots of money, and it's really hard to keep them with us. But uh, I've heard this concept of hiring for attitude like at least 8 years ago. Uh, in business, we are mostly focusing on skills and is the person really suitable for the job? Does he know how to do it? From the day one, he should be very effective with what he's doing. My approach is totally different. Even though that we are a young company and we have to operate really efficiently, what I'm looking and I'm trying to almost force it on all of my hiring managers and managers, that we are looking for people with the right attitude. What it means, approach to life, personal values, how they react to the different situations, what they believe in. Do they believe in what we believe? Do they understand the purpose of our company, how we want to work, what we want to deliver to our clients? If this is in place, then we jump into the technical details if the person is actually suitable for the job. But the technical skills or any other skills required for the job are not the key factor for hiring. If they know how to learn, but they don't know right now how to do the job, and they have a right attitude, we will hire them. We will give them the trial period. We'll see if they learn as fast as we require. And this is usually the case. Let's say we are hiring developers, programmers, and engineering people for developing software. We have quite a lot of really young, talented people. When they come to our company, they don't know the programming language we are requiring, but they know at least one or two other languages. If their mindset is really open, if they believe in our values and our goals, if they want to work with us on the solution that we are providing, they basically feel good with the people who are working here. They evolved really quickly into the really great engineers. I mean, they are learning fast and they are also being very productive within a month or two after hiring. But the first questions that we asked was not, do you know the language? What have you done what kind of projects have you done? We are asking them the real questions about their life, about their personality, about what they believe, what they like to do, what they don't like to do, who they want to work with, how they perceive their work environment that would be beneficial for them and they would feel comfortable with. But what we do, we are making the decisions on people really fast, knowing that there are huge shortages on the market. We don't really prolong the decisions on firing people. If someone is not suitable for the team and we see the bad influence, it's really immediate decision, because one person that does not suit the company culture can create a more damage with a really short period of time than not having this person on board with us at all. So making fast decisions, looking for attitude more than skills. This is my major advice to anyone looking for people. And it's of course not easy, because the next question could be, how do you recruit for attitude, not skills? This is really hard. This is if you have a company culture and you have defined it, and you have a common beliefs and values for people in the company, this is becoming easier and easier. So the first thing that you have to do is basically define yourself as a company, as a culture, and then it becomes much easier.
I think that's a fantastic approach. So Pavel, finally, one last question. How do you define success?
Well, for me, success is actually okay, throughout my careers, I was a product person. So I was responsible for building products, mostly technology. But right now I'm a CEO, so I actually serve clients to be satisfied with the products that we are offering. For me, the success is actually happy clients. If I see that the client is benefiting from my solution, I see the win-win situation that we are selling something, but the other side is happy to pay us for it, and they are asking for more. They are bringing solutions, they are bringing problems, but they basically want to work with us. This is amazing success because I see that our products actually, someone benefits from having our product and using this every day. And it's, of course, in the end of the day, I have to look on the financials, on being to make the living for myself, for our shareholders. But from the personal perspective, really a happy client is something that I'm looking for, and this is how I define my success. If people like what I do and they are willing to pay for this and they benefit from this, this is a success for me.
Fantastic. Pawel, thank you so much for your time and your insights today. For more information on Emplo and SIIA, please visit our websites and stay tuned for next week's Executive Spotlight.